Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. Welcome to my podcast, The Foyne Jones Show. And I say this every episode. We're on season 7. How good is that? Thank you to our friends and sponsors, Carousel, because without our sponsors, we do not have an episode. Without our sponsors, we don't have a show. Without our sponsors, we do not have a podcast. So thank you to Marcus and the wonderful team at Carousel. In this recording studio with me today, I have a friend of mine from the Potteries. He's originally from Wales. He's currently residing in Staffordshire. Tom Reynolds, welcome to the Foyne Jones Show. Welcome to my podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Now, I keep getting told off when I record the virtual episodes because you can see I wander left and right. I keep disappearing off the video when I'm talking to people, so I'm going to try and stay front and centre. Tom, I feel quite honoured to be in your presence because looking at who you've been talking to lately, the great and good of the bathroom industry, the celebrities, you know, the name drops that you've got now, the stories must be unbelievable. So we're going to talk about who you've been interviewing, who you've been on the sofa with. But for anyone who doesn't know you, let's just start the episode by giving you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us what you do as a job, Tom. What's your life all about, mate?
Yeah, okay. So I've been chief exec of the Bathroom Manufacturers Association for just over 5 years now, which is completely flown. And I have to remind myself I've been here 5 years because it just doesn't seem like that. It seems like I joined the industry just yesterday, really. But the BMA, for people that don't know, is a trade association for suppliers of bathroom fixtures and fittings to the UK market. So as a trade body, we're kind of a representative organisation. We look after the interests of those companies, and that involves kind of sitting down with stakeholders, whether that's politicians, civil servants, journalists, speaking to the wider marketplace, all sorts of people. We represent the views and the interests of the bathroom manufacturers to all those people. And that's what my day to day is basically, Peter. Is I'm essentially a comms person. I'm a mouthpiece for the industry.
But there's so many different views. There's so many different opinions. There's so many different stories. There's so many different brands, products, solutions, services, angles. So if you look at that, one of the things I admire the most about yourself and your team at the BMA, because I do see it as a team, is you do take LinkedIn and your social content seriously, but you do it with a smile on your face at times as well. So what I like is you'll put out a very powerful statement, which is on point and political, and then we'll see you dressed as Freddie Mercury with a Hoover cleaning up at the installer show. So that presence actually makes you engaging. You know, it captures attention. So is that a strategy now to get the trade association seen in a different light? Because if you go back to when I grew up, you know, anything like that is shop steward. It's this, it's that, you know, and there's kind of a standoffish approach. You're kind of open house now, aren't you? You're telling your story differently.
Well, I mean, anyone that's serious 100% of the time. And we deal with really serious stuff. So, one of the LinkedIn posts that I think you're probably referring to is the safety warning that we did on electric showers and basically post-market fitting restrictive handsets to electric showers, which include scalding risk. This is serious stuff, you know. It can cause injury if people don't kind of heed the warnings that we're giving them. So, we've got serious stuff, but, anyone that's serious 100% of the time, you're living quite a sad life, aren't you? And we try to have fun in our job. We're doing important stuff. The stuff that we're talking to the government about all the time is around kind of water quality, safety, making sure that consumers don't get ripped off. So it's sober stuff. You've got to be serious, but this sector is a fun sector to be part of, where we actually transform people's lives for the better by improving the spaces that they live in. Let's have some fun while we're doing it. And as a small team, there's only 6 of us at the BMA. we're so lucky. We all get along really, really well, and we do have fun. And we have fun with our members as well. As I say, it's a tremendous industry. Well, you know this, Peter. Tremendous industry to be part of with lovely people. So yeah, let's have fun while we're going about our day-to-day jobs, eh?
Brilliant, mate. And that's what my podcast is about, is actually bringing people's stories to life, because you can look at a brand, you can look at a showroom, you can look at a product, you can look at a solution, and you can be interested, curious, or bored, depending on what it is. Do you know what I mean? We all shop differently, we all buy differently, we've all got different habits. And I'd imagine if we go through our TV channels and what we scroll and what stops us, we all look and we get different touch points, things make us happy, sad, whatever. But for you to work as a team is what you do, and put a shift in, I can see how it is actually starting to resonate with others, because I take LinkedIn very, very seriously. I do, but I do everything with a smile on my face. We met at an industry event, and and I say this to anyone, it's the same me that rocks up at the industry event that's in this conversation now, that's going for a run in the morning, that's at the football. You're starting to do that really well. So let's dive that a little bit deeper, Mr. Reynolds. You're a Welshman in Staffordshire. Tell me how on earth you arrived in your current role leading the British Bathroom Manufacturers Association. Where did it begin? How did you end up there?
God, there's a really, there's no straight answer to that. I mean, just picking up before I go into my story, if you like, that point that you made, social media. I think the thing that you do really, really well, and that we are now doing for the last 6 months, 12 months or so on LinkedIn, is just showing our authenticity. We're not trying to be anything that we're not. We go from talking about what is, arguably quite dry stuff, but important. We're not going to shy away. That's what we're about. But actually, we've got personalities alongside that as well. So that authenticity is really, really important. So and that's what you do so well. Kudos to you as well, Peter, for that. So, but my journey into the bathroom industry is a weird one, really. So,
I love weird journeys, Tom. I love weird journeys. Nothing will be like our sponsor, Marcus, who quit the army after one day, worked in a donut factory, become a double donut maker, and is now CEO of a global group. That journey was just fascinating. And we've had them all. So, honestly, you won't be the strangest, I promise you.
Well, first, I wanted to be go into politics, right? So I won't give away too much about my political leanings, but probably left of centre is how I describe myself. So I wanted to be a politician, and I was a councillor for a while, and worked for a member of parliament. My first job out of uni, and then after after experience. Decided I need to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit, and ended up working in trade journals, so for several publishing houses. And then media being media, in 2015, the company I was working for went bust. So I was kind of kicking my heels looking for a job, and had a young family. I still got a not so young family now, but had a young family at the time, and we needed to keep the wolves from the door. So I was looking for a job, and more than anything, Pete, I wanted something interesting, and without the hour and a half each way commute that I was doing before. And there was a job that came up for a trade policy advisor at a local trade association, the British Ceramic Confederation. And this really, really appealed to me, because it's kind of support. It was, in support of a really important industry.
And that's geographically, that's your community, isn't it? That's where that's it, isn't it? Potteries, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So still live in North Staffordshire. So it remains an important industry locally, and that's where the association was based in Staffordshire. And I was fortunate enough to get the job, and it was the best move that I've ever made into trade associations. And a few months after joining, I kind of took on the trade policy portfolio. So about import, export, anti-dumping regulations, stuff like that. And then a few months later, the referendum took place, and then suddenly the UK's doing trade policy, and there's not all that many kind of trade policy specialists around the country, and suddenly there's a need for them. So that kind of really boosted my my stock, if you like, threw myself into the role, became commercial director at the BCC, and then the next step was into kind of senior leadership within a trade association, and that's when Yvonne Orgill announced that she was going to be retiring from the BMA. She's massive shoes to fill, having essentially set up the BMA in 2001 and led
so
it.
No pressure then, Tom, eh? No pressure.
Well, there's one person within the industry that did say a few months after, "You're David Moyes." I know your football analogies. You're David Moyes taking over from Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, you're the chosen one. Good luck.
Yeah. But so it was daunting, genuinely. But I made the move across, and of course the ceramics industry and the bathroom industry are allied.
Yeah.
You know, we had several kind of common members, so I kind of knew the industry already a little bit. But I've just I've immersed myself in it, and I can't tell you how much it's probably the best move, bar the one into trade associations, that I've ever made, and. I feel part of the furniture now. So
tell me about the family. How old's the young family now? Because I still talk about having a young family, but my boys are like 6'2" and 6'3", and they're 25 and 22. Do you know what I mean? But I still call them like my little boys, which is mental when you're looking up to them. Do you know? So tell me about your family, mate. Let's get to know them.
Oh, my little girls are 13 and 15, and so they're not so little anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
The youngest is as tall as me, which isn't saying much, but. They've grown up quick, but they're still my little girls.
Yeah, always will be, Tom, won't they? Always will be. So, love to the family, and hopefully we can sign them up as listeners to the Foyne Jones show. If they're, you're going on a lovely trip, what better than to listen to your daddy on the podcast? There you go. If they're anything,
well, they've had a shout out now, so they can.
There you go. We'll give them away. If you're anything like my family, my wife goes, "Oh, not you again!" Like, you know what I mean? She genuinely goes like that. She's like, "Oh no." Here he goes again. I was talking to Andy Davis about it, because obviously he does more podcasts than me. Like, he's podcast king, and he's going like, "Yeah, no, the missus just can't handle it no more." Do you know? So it's I think honestly, I think why not take this, take what you're doing and celebrate it and talk about it, and that's what I want to really just dive back to. So if you could explain the BMA in a couple of paragraphs to people that were uneducated or not aware, what would you say? How would you explain it to someone? So, what you do and what you stand for?
Yeah, I mean, we do three things essentially. So we influence on behalf of the industry. We provide information to the industry about things that they need to know about, whether that's kind of changing regulations. So, with the change in government that's just taken place, understanding what the new legislative programme is in the new government. So you haven't got to read through the King's Speech and all the documents coming out of Westminster. We'll see the wood for the trees and tell our members kind of what's important for them. So we provide information. And then the third thing is we're about connecting people. So we've got a conference coming up in September, which hopefully we'll see you at, Peter, 16th and 17th of September. And that is just a brilliant opportunity to bring people from across the sector together. And the beautiful thing about the bathroom industry, perhaps differently from other sectors, is that there's huge scope for collaboration, because we've got some members that, they produce everything that goes into the bathroom, the taps, the showers, the sanitary ware and so on. But equally, we've got members that only produce shower enclosures that only produce brassware. And so the scope for collaboration is huge, and there's lots of different kind of sub-markets within the sector, whether that's hotels, prisons, only refurbishment, new build. So again, the sub-markets, the different categories, just provide.
It's really interesting when you look at it like that, and when you map it out, because we're doing some. I don't want to talk about it, but we're doing some recruitment at the moment, because I do have a recruitment business which I'm quite proud of, and when we're looking at the contracts market, in particular, and when you start looking at how different brands can collaborate, how they become part of the offer, which is to go into that luxury development or that university complex or those that, it really does change the game when you're talking about that route to market through spec all the way through. Because a lot of what I've been learning just in this recent project is, the sustainability is so important now. The environmental impact of the product and the solution is so important now. Back in my day, when I was a builder's merchant, it was price, availability, and who they like the most. And it certainly really is evolving now. So I like that. I like those three things because I've summarised them as: you influence, you give information, and you collaborate.
Yeah, collaborate and connect. That's what it's all about. And do you know that, I know you're about getting people into the industry, aren't you? And
hugely.
Improving the skills and the people. But this is, for me, is a massive selling point for the bathroom sector. There is no way that you're ever going to get bored in this industry because you can so easily, you can switch the products that you're talking about, you can switch the markets that you're aiming at. Unlike, I know you're from a builder's merchant's background, but the heavy side products are heavy side products, aren't they? In the bathroom sector, you can be so flexible and have a diverse career.
It's really strange though, Tom, right? Because I actually haven't worked for a builder's merchant since 2003. Like, genuinely. So I'm in my 20th year at Foyne Jones. We turned 20 in January this year, right? So I still talk about it as if it was yesterday, and it was 20 years ago. So I was 29 when I left that industry. I'm 49, nearly 50. I'm 50 in February. Don't like saying it too loud, but I am. I'm 50, right? So when I look at the changes we've gone through and where we are right now, it's so exciting for me, and it's something that I love standing up and celebrating. I love talking about it out loud because I'm with you on that. The careers, the pathways, what you can be doing and how you can evolve, it can actually be unrivaled, and we need to celebrate that. So we're going to take a quick break, Tom, all right? When we come back from the break, we are going to talk about the industry, how it is right now, and what it can offer our stars of the future, why it's attractive and what it can offer. We're going to talk a little bit about your love for rugby and music, because you're not getting away without talking about that. And I believe there is a calling for you on a TV chat show, because I've seen who you've been interviewing. I see a Sunday brunch style show, maybe set in a bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Maybe set in a bathroom, and I could just see you, like the celebs you're hanging out with, mate. You can have a guest list to die for. So we've got to talk about some of them recent interviews, and then we're going to give some advice to people, the next generation, and talk about resilience as well, because this series is all about resilience. We'll see you after the break.
With over 35 years of global expertise in crafting, designing and delivering high-quality kitchen solutions, Carousel offers an unmatched variety of products including surfaces, sinks, taps and appliances designed to elevate and transform any culinary space.
Welcome back to the Foyne Jones Show. Thank you again to our sponsors, Carousel. Without you, we do not have a podcast and we don't have our guests to talk to. So let's go back to yourself, Tom. We've got to know the BMA and we've got to know your journey, which has arrived into the current role. The industry right now, what do you see the challenges for the bathroom industry at the moment?
Well, right now, perhaps the biggest industry issue is just soft demand. It's been a really challenging 18 months from a demand point of view, and that's after the crazy kind of post-pandemic boom, which kind of perhaps brought forward a little bit of work, and there was a bit of pent-up demand going into that. But the last 18 months have been really, really tough trading, and that's at a time when corresponding costs haven't necessarily come down in the same way. So you've got all sorts of pressures on pricing and so on. It's tough trading right now.
And with it being a difficult trading climate, because we all had it off. Everyone who's involved in this industry, whether you're involved because of the people, like me, the solution, the strategy, or whether you're involved in the supply, the manufacturing, ultimately, everyone had it off immediately after the pandemic. It was a great time. Right now, reality's kicked back in, and there is some heartbreaking stories out there. There's brands of, not just in Barbara, but there's brands that are going into administration across interiors, across construction, and you look at that. And that's real people's lives that are impacted and affected. And, the word resilience really becomes a factor then if you don't know how you're going to pay your mortgage, you don't know how you're going to put food on the table, when you've really got to dig deep. And something we're passionate about is supporting people. But manufacturers that you're talking to, they have to show resilience in different ways now, don't they? In their marketing, in their supply chain, in how they're managing their clients' expectations. Is that coming through in your conversations?
Yeah, well, resilience is a great theme to pick up in the series. It was the theme of our conference last year, actually, because we had to show resilience even during that boom, that post-pandemic boom, because there were all sorts of issues around shipping and getting products into the country. Companies were having to find workarounds to make sure that their customers were still getting stock through the system. So, resilience there. Right now, it's a chance that the slowdown is a chance to reset and make sure that we're resilient for the future. That is partly about business resilience, making sure your finances are all correct and that your business practices are good, that you've got productive business practices in place, whether that means a little bit of automation or whatever. But also making sure that your staff are resilient and that can keep their heads together at a time which is really tough is not to be undersold. That is a really important part of resilience, and something that we hope to help members with. And
I think that's really important. I share a lot of content around doing the right thing, how people feel, and it is we can all be overwhelmed by pressure. We're all fighting our own battles, and we all have to have our own strategies. For me, I'm taking my fitness much more serious, probably as serious now as I did 20 years ago, and I'm seeing like ridiculous results for me. I'm going, whoa, how have I done that? But how have I done it? I'm turning up, I'm being consistent, I'm having a go. I'm failing a bit, but I'm getting back up and I'm going again. And it's that side of it. Talking about failing, this morning, Tom, I was running with my paratrooper son, right? So that wasn't fun. He had army trousers on, army boots and Bergen, and he was trying to make me catch up with him as he's running up a hill. I'm like, it was I had to show resilience just to keep going on that, but it was a lot of fun, and I think now we do have to be positive about the industry. We have to be positive about what it can offer the next generation, and that's another thing now. When we look at the apprenticeship pathways, people wanting to transfer into this wonderful industry you and I are involved in, we need to make it attractive. What would you say to someone who's considering a career within the bathroom industry? What advice would you give them, Tom, if they're at the beginning of their journey?
Well, for one, do it, because you won't regret it. We've got something called 30 Under 30, which we will be unveiling at our conference coming up next month, 16th to 17th of September. So we're announcing the very first BMA 30 Under 30, which is celebrating the kind of 30 movers and shakers under the age of 30.
So here's me wishing you did that 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I really wish you did it 20 years ago because I could have squeezed in. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to do an over 50s one, and I'll try and get into that. Do you know what I mean? We'll see.
Well, the idea behind it,
I think
really,
honestly, joking aside, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Not just to celebrate it, but to showcase it and actually let people know what they can achieve.
And one of the things that's really, I've sat through the judging sessions. They're all independently judged. I've sat through the sessions, and one of the things that I'm so proud about on the list when everyone sees it is the diversity that's there, not just in terms of kind of visual diversity, but also just the breadth of roles and the different ways, the different ways you can get involved in this industry, the different pathways into it, and the things that you can do when you're in it. And hopefully it will be a bit of an eye-opener for everyone.
I think it's brilliant, Tom. And do you know what? You spoke about your journey. I talk about my journey all the time. From a Fulham Council estate and a market stall, football terraces, builders merchants, recruitment company. I don't know how that really played out, but here I am now, and I'm still smiling about being involved. Like today, I look at the diversity of my day. I'm recording a podcast with you. I've already had a meeting with a client. I'm catching up with my team. I've been for a run. I'm going to walk my dog, who's, for the benefit of everyone in the camera, is living life to the full down there at the moment. Look, do you see what I mean? So you get it all going on, but there are people that are really, really making a difference. And I think your 30 under 30 should be celebrated. But something else we should celebrate, Tom, is your love of rugby. All right. I know it's rugby and music, but I'm just gonna focus on rugby. Did you play?
I played at school a bit, but what you can't tell in a virtual studio is just how short I am.
Was you a little hooker? Was you a scrum half? Where'd you play?
Scrum half.
Yeah, fair play, mate.
But I wasn't very good, for one, and for two, everyone were about twice the size of me by the time
it's a bit tough. I mean, I'm a footballer. I want to trap the ball in my chest. I want to pass. I want to run away. I don't want to be flattened. What I see in rugby is there's a lot of big, strong, quick lads, and they hurt each other. So it's one of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It is an amazing sport to play as well. I mean, it is the ultimate team sport in my view, because you are so dependent on the people around you. It's a fabulous sport.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. So, and you follow the Ospreys?
Yeah. By virtue of my heritage and coming from South Wales, so our family used to support Neath. Neath became part of Ospreys. Still follow Ospreys really.
Yeah, so is it your family?
Not a great time for the club.
So your family from Neath, mate, are they?
Well, that area, yeah. So Cunham Valley, actually, Irwin.
Believe it or not, during my merchant days, and I don't want to send people to sleep here, but when I lived in the West Country, I spent a lot of time in South Wales and West Wales, from kind of all the way from Newport to Haverfordwest. So almost every town or city along the way, Neath, Port Talbot, all of them, there was a Keyline branch turning into a Travis, a Sharp. So I kind of got quite familiar with that area, and it helped with my surname. I was quite accepted. I might have had a West London accent, but I got accepted with my surname. So do you get very patriotic and follow the rugby team when they're in action? Because it's very special, the anthem when Wales play, isn't it?
Well, the national side, I'm a fervent supporter of, and it just tingles every time you get in the stadium. Really, it's just the atmosphere. Any rugby game is pretty special, but in Cardiff, when that anthem gets sung, it's special for sure. So,
Tom, absolutely brilliant. We're coming to the end of the show, and I just want to. I've teased people with it earlier on, and I've been sitting here thinking, how's he pulled that interview off? How's he got him off the telly sitting there talking to him? It's like you're a chat show host to the stars. Just talk us through some of the people who've been sharing the stage with you on the in the BMA arena, as I call it, because you've had some pretty inspirational people talking to you, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the last session was at Installer Show just gone was pretty incredible. So we had Linda Barker, that people know from Changing Rooms back in the day, who gave us
that was the trailblazing programme that kind of started everything, really, wasn't it? The three of them, and bang, away we went.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it was genuinely an iconic show, wasn't it? And Linda was great, actually. Fantastic person to interview. Similar sort of iconic show, Grand Designs. We had Kevin McLeod in the BMA area at the Installer Show just gone. We've had Mark Miller, who is off telly as well, who's doing kind of shows, really pushing kitchen and bathroom industry, actually. He's a fantastic.
Honestly, Tom, I genuinely think one Sunday or Saturday, like James Martin's going to be on, and then it's going to be the BMA chat show, and we'll be talking toilets with Tom Reynolds, or whatever. I mean that with love, because I think what you're doing is you're bringing familiarity, you're bringing individuals involved, and people, celebrities involved, but they're people that we all have an affinity with, or we've seen them. Even if you don't watch every show, you know where it is. So it's actually giving the voice of those products and those manufacturers and those stakeholders. It's giving them some airtime and some presence and some media time in the right way. So it's good work, mate. It's good work.
I mean, we have a lot of fun because we do these sorts of interviews Installer Show, and that's where we get big names because we've got the audience there, right? But also at conference, we have the kind of panel discussions and stuff like that. And we do similar sorts of video interviews on a week in, week out basis as part of our Member Monday.
You do your takeovers as well, don't you? Things like that, member takeovers and stuff. And all of that's great because you're doing it consistently, you're getting people involved, you're inviting your members to take part, and I think it works. So you teased us with the conference, you've told us the dates. Let's make sure we get this included. So tell us when it's happening and just bring it to life for us, mate. It's a 2-day event, isn't it?
2-day event, 16th and 17th of September in Leeds this year at the Queen's Hotel. First day is workshops. So whether you're into marketing, into technical, whether you're a senior leader within your organisation, we've got a workshop for you on that Monday. Networking dinner in the evening, which is always really relaxed. I mean, we really do make sure that it's an informal dinner on day one, and that's where some of the best conversations take place in the fringes. And then day 2, we've got our AGM, which is big occasion. We've got a new president coming in. Had tremendous support of Jason Parker from Thomas Dudley over the last couple of years, and then Craig Baker from Cole & Myra is going to be coming in as president. We've got a really, really cool agenda for the main conference, including the first female fighter pilot, giving a kind of inspirational speech. We've got an economist talking about the nature of the house building sector going forward, and we've got a panel discussion on how we're actually going to achieve building growth in this country going forward. So that's going to be good. And then in the evening, it's the gala dinner, so we all get dressed up, look posh, and we're going to be celebrating our 30 under 30.
Boom. Wonderfully summed up, Tom. I wish you every success. You actually pleasure. One of the strangest things, and I wanted to mention it. We bumped into each other up in Birmingham earlier this year, right? And we were chatting away, and you went, Peter, we've never met before, but I feel like I've known you for years. And that's the power of our industry. That's the power of social media. So I want to leave it, Tom, with you just to give, what would you say to the industry right now? Give the industry some advice. What would you say to the bathroom industry now? It's over to you to end the podcast.
Okay, have faith. We are about to turn a corner. I think good times are ahead over the course of the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's going to be an uplift in demand. I think we've kind of hit the nadir now, and we're on the way back up. And there's lots to look forward to. We just got to grab it with both hands. And if you're considering a career, for goodness sake, look at the bathroom industry, because you won't regret it.
Mr. Reynolds, thank you so much for finally being part of the Foy & Jones show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Next time we will do this in London, we will do this in Stoke-on-Trent, or we will do this in our studio in Brighton. That is the end of episode 9 of season 7 of the Foy & Jones show. We were talking resilience and the bathroom industry with Tom Reynolds from the Bathroom Manufacturers Association. Always a pleasure, never a chore. We will see you next episode. Thank you, Tom. Take care.